Welcome everybody to the Monday Night Gamer gaming podcast. I am Joe Cowley, and I'm joined by two people that I drag into everything that pops into my head. Whether it's a podcast, blog, review, gaming night, board game, video game, just about anything. And you know what? You guys go right along with it.
Yeah. We do.
And that being said, I have
Sean Vitale
and
Amanda Reed.
so we're gonna give a little bit of history from us, our experiences with gaming, and we're gonna start with Amanda. And we're gonna talk about your background.
All right. Well, I always liked board games, but I never played anything too complicated. My family and I would play Scrabble or Monopoly, but that was as adventurous as we got. Also, when I was a kid, I didn't really play a lot of video games. I had a teeny tiny Game Boy Advance, and whenever my friends were playing video games at their house, they didn't really give me that much of a chance to play with them because, I was pretty bad at controlling the camera, and I always got killed. But then, later on in life, started dating Joe, and he actually gave me a chance to get better at it. So I started out with Xbox 360, and just recently we got a PlayStation 3. So I'm definitely more into video games now than I was in the past.
I'm just dying. This story of exclusion becomes a story of redemption.
It really is.
I'm glad that you were able to make it through that tough
Yeah.
period in your life.
Yeah, I mean, there are some games now where I always kick Joe's ass. So,
That happens a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
sorry
Especially
about
fighting
that.
games. 1-to-1
Oh,
fighters, you
man.
are brutal.
Yeah, I kind of am.
Swear words coming out of this one. Like a goddamn sailor.
I need to see that. I have not experienced that personally.
You gotta play
I
Injustice.
don't know if I want to
You
share that with the world.
When we do the episode for Injustice, Gods Among Us, that's gonna be an interesting. Have you played that game yet?
No.
No. All right, that's a whole nother tale.
I'm excited.
All right, Sean. So, what's your background with gaming?
My background with gaming goes back to my dad's Atari. I don't
Ooh,
know.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
going.
Old school.
That's going back.
Yeah, my brother and I used to play all kinds of games, but my brother was really the reason that I got into games at all. He's always been very heavy into video games and a lot into board games too. I remember he would make me play Risk so that he could have more people on the board. Him and his friends would be over and, Sean, you have to play now. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I got dominated a lot in board games, and then eventually in first-person shooters. Gaming really took off for me probably around high school when Halo 2 got released for the Xbox. We played countless hours of that game. Joe knows.
Yeah,
he was
I know
invited.
those parties where
Yeah.
people bring their friggin' TVs and it's not the little flat screen that I have. It's like the full fucking TV. They stole it from their parents' living room
Yeah.
to like system link this shit. Like 4 people are in one room, 8 more are in another.
Yeah, we would have 4 tube TVs set up in my basement, all playing Halo 2. 16 of us in my basement, all sweating and screaming at each other and cursing, and it was an experience. It was an experience. A lot of pent up rage from 14-year-old boys.
That's a lot of rage.
Well, yeah. So then it eventually developed into what this is now. I still take hints from my brother. He passes games along to me, and Joe has gotten me back into board games. We've rekindled the fire for a lot of board games. So.
Well, for me, I can remember going over to one of my friend's houses, like when we were, I don't even remember how old I was, but he had an N64, and that was like my really first like experience with video games. I was I'm the oldest of me and my sister, so there was really nobody above. Like you had your brother to kind of pull you into it, so it was just kind of me. I had to rely on like my friends and playing like Mario 64. That was really my first experience, and then I got a PlayStation. That was back when it was PlayStation and Nintendo.
Right.
There was no Xbox or anything like that. So had the PlayStation for a long time. Loved it. Then PS2 came along, and then once Xbox, like once we got up to like the Xbox 360, I kind of went more toward that than PlayStation. Especially when the PS3 came out, I'm like, nah, I got my Xbox. It's fine. And then Amanda just got me for Christmas this past Christmas. She got me a PlayStation 3, and I'm playing it all the time now. Especially Grand Theft Auto 5.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. As far as board gaming goes, though, like apart from Scrabble and like Monopoly, there wasn't too many board games that we played because a lot of it, we're so competitive with one another that I make the joke it starts at the Scrabble board and ends in the octagon between myself and my sister. We just start yelling. We're like, that's not a fucking word. Smacking the pieces off the table. Yeah. We didn't actually do that, but it was like it got to that point. And then apart from Monopoly, which I don't believe that anybody actually knows how to play that game. I think you just gotta fuck around for a while and then get bored and flip the table.
Joe, how do you have 12 hotels on the boardwalk?
Don't worry about it.
Listen, my boardwalk empire.
Yeah, this is Atlantic City. That's how I have it.
Oh man, Monopoly.
That's my theory about Monopoly. But then my board gaming, it's becoming an obsession. Started with the show Tabletop on YouTube. Probably most people out there are aware of it. So I don't have to talk about it at all. But I watch that religiously. Especially a game that I'm interested in. There's a couple episodes I can't even go through. I'm not interested in the game at all. Like I need some kind of spark to like. If I actually want to play this game, I'm gonna watch the episode over and over and over again to figure out how to play it.
It is a good way to learn how to play a game because sometimes you just have to see other people playing it to get the rules.
That's how I learned too. I learned by watching. So like instead of having the rule book in my hand and I'm reading the rules, if I could see somebody playing the game and that's how like I know okay that's how I can play that piece or I can lay this tile this way. That's way more beneficial for me. Today's game, though, is one of the earlier games that we bought, at least board gaming. It's Alhambra. It's an awesome game. I think it was German Game of the Year in like, I want to say either 04 or 01, one of those years. I can't see it from there. Sean's gonna go see. Just fact checking.
Tree.
That was close. 03. Game of the Year in 03. How you play this game is you're buying tiles to build a palace or building called an Alhambra. And you put the person who's dealt the fewest cards goes first. You have money cards basically that buy the tiles, which actually really throws you off because there's I have to buy this card that's purple with blue money, or you'll see a blue tile somewhere where you can't buy it and I'm like I have enough for that, I can't buy it.
Yeah, I have blue money, but that's actually white money for a blue tile.
Yeah.
Damn.
that's on a green thing, but I can't. I have no green cards in my hand.
Yeah, that is one aspect that is confusing. But you really have to plan things out in that game.
You do.
And if you plan in a different way than you actually should, like say, I'm saving up to buy this tile, but I mistaken it, like I mix up my colors somehow.
Yeah.
Like, this tile's blue, so I'm saving all my blue money. Wait a second.
That's
I need
actually in the
orange money
green.
for that.
Yeah, it's in the green
Yeah.
space. It's cards of different color. The money cards are different color: yellow, green, blue, and orange. You have to pay for each tile in that currency, basically. If you pay exact change, you get a bonus move. So it happened once so far. A game that Amanda and I were just playing, I was able to buy up like 3 tiles in one turn of mine. Um, then the way that you play those tiles are the simplified version of it is open spaces to open spaces, and walls have to touch walls. That's the easiest way to go about it.
Right.
Yeah. So we're gonna now talk about Sean's experience with this game.
Well, let me preface this by saying I am smart. I think there needs to be a disclaimer. I just have terrible spatial skills. And so when I play this game, first of all, dealing with the money, it's like a Stroop effect, where you have the word in one color, but you really need to say the color that the word's printed in and not the color itself. Like green is printed in blue, but you have to go, oh yeah, blue, but you see green. No, that's how I feel when I'm trying to buy tiles. So then I get through that struggle, and I have nowhere to put any of my tiles. So I'm like looking at Joe and Amanda with puppy dog eyes going, guys,
could you help me? So we spend like about 5 to 10 minutes per round, pretty much, arranging Sean's entire Alhambra.
Yeah. So it's the game itself is enjoyable. I'm no good at it. Yeah.
Oh.
There is someone who's really good at it here. Who's that, Amanda?
Now, listen.
This
I
is
don't win every time.
You win every time.
I've never seen her lose a game.
Yeah. Between the three of us
Yeah.
playing Alhambra, you have never lost.
You know what? Honestly, you know what I think it is, though? If we're going off our individual strengths and weaknesses for different games.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I'm good at is planning things out.
Yeah.
I think ahead a lot. So with
You have
Alhambra,
to think up to 4 times.
I think it's important to note that in Alhambra, so like Joe said, each tile has a different building, and there are a few different color buildings, and at the end of the game, if you have so many buildings of a certain color, that could give you points. So it's important to get a good variety of colors, especially higher ranking ones, and also if you could fit your tiles together in a way where you have a really long continuous wall, that also can give you a ton of points.
Well, let's divert that real quick and talk about scoring. The way you score is you have 3 scoring rounds. 2 are random throughout the game. You're drawing them from the money deck that you're using to refill your bank. Because on each turn you can either take money or buy tiles. Like I said before, buying tiles with exact change gets you a bonus move. So when you draw your scoring cards, the person who has the most of a specific color gets those points. In the case of a tie, you kind of split the difference. If it's an odd number, you round it down to an even number and split it that way, and then you kind of go from there. So the colors like white, color tiles that is, white, green, and especially purple, are very, very high late in the game, up to 21 points for towers. So if you can kind of monopolize on the towers and kind of pick them up as quickly as they come out.
The towers being purple.
The towers being purple, that is. You can really dominate the end of the game with 21 points on top of however much your wall is up to. I've seen Amanda's wall go up 27, 28 points. Yeah.
Well, my strategy usually is to build the longest wall and also to get as many towers as I can. I don't really focus so much on the other colors. Maybe I'll try to get more white or more green tiles, but those 2 things are my top priority when I'm playing this game, and so far it's worked out.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
I can't imagine how it's worked out.
But
I think it's worked out because you win all the time.
hey, That doesn't mean you guys can't defeat me in this game.
Yeah. It's just really fucking hard. Yeah, we get.
I can't defeat her in this game.
Yeah, you came in second. Last time we played, you came in second, but we did help.
Yeah,
you.
you also rebuilt my entire Alhambra so that my wall was long. But,
Like I have I'd say I have pretty decent spatial relations for this game. But the hard part for me is it's just the gamble of I can't buy that tile right now. But if I draw these cards, hopefully that tile will be there by the time it's my turn again, and I can buy it.
Oh yeah, it gets stressful.
Yeah, where it's somebody buys something and there's like mumbled swear words coming from me, and like I throw down my cards.
I love watching Amanda scoop up a tile that Joe really needs.
Shut
And
up.
I'm gonna pay with exact change. God damn Russian.
They know the look. They know the look that I get when I really want a tile. It's like this really focused. I just look in one spot. I'm like looking over my cards, and I'm just like
You're just huddled.
I'm just huddled together. Like, come on, is it gonna be there, son of a bitch? Or the laugh that I get when I can pay for something in exact change, or like I do something like this evil snicker. Oh, what else should we talk about? Is there anything else we missed on this game?
Maybe we could wrap it up with. I mean, we kind of did talk about this, but our favorite and least favorite thing about this game.
Ooh, favorite and least favorite thing about the game. Ooh.
I can tell you straight away. Without even thinking hard. My favorite thing about the game is the amount of potential for chaos, because you have to think ahead, and there's so much opportunity for one person to have the same thought as you and just completely derail your train,
Yeah.
it's constantly happening. You've been saving your money for 3 rounds, and the player who goes before you scoops up that tile really quick, and then your wall doesn't fit anymore, and then your whole life is just disordered. Like, I love that about the game, even though that screws me over constantly. My least favorite thing about the game is the Stroop effect that I described with the money. I really struggle to keep in my head that blue tile does not necessarily mean blue money. I have to keep focusing on, oh no, I need to pay for that with orange.
Yeah. I'd say for me, it's my favorite and least favorite thing about the game is just the gambling of it. Where I was talking like, is that going to be there for my next round? And I like it helps you. If it helps you, it's great. It's not like actual gambling where you're like losing money or something. Like you're losing pretend money.
Yeah.
Potentially, but it's not gonna. It'll hurt you in the game. Like it's just points. Like it's not real. You're not going to a casino or something.
Right.
So it's just like that gambling effect of can my plan hold through the entire game? Can I get the tiles that come out? I'll be the one drawing the tiles. I'm like, fuck. I'll put a tile that I could pay for in the wrong spot. If 2 tiles are gone, I'll put it on the orange. I'll put the tile that I don't need on orange, and the tile that I could use and get exact change for on like green or something. I'm like, fuck. I can't pay for that now. I'm like, I can't just switch them.
Yeah,
like that's not.
That's
man.
dishonest.
That's
It's
not
so
fair.
Frustrating sometimes. But
It'd be like right before my turn, and like I put a low cost thing that I could scoop up real quick for exact change, get another move, get some more money into my hand, or potentially another tile. I'll put it in the wrong fucking spot. Yeah, but that's just me. That's
the
just,
game.
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, to wrap it up, my favorite thing about this game is, when you're coming to it for the first time, you think, oh, how bad could this be? Because it's a bunch of tiles with like little houses on them, and you're like, oh, you're just gonna build this little Alhambra, like, okay, fine, like this is gonna be an easy game. And then you get into it, and there are so many things you have to worry about when you're playing, and you really have to strategize and think ahead, and it gets kind of competitive, especially when you're looking at the same tile. My least favorite thing, I think, even though it's not really a factor for everyone, the whole color coordination thing and or the whole color um, thing with that you can mix up with the tiles and the money. I think that could be confusing for some people. Like if that's something that you know they don't always get.
That gets easier after you play a couple of rounds.
That's
true. You play it for the first time. It's like, all right, I can't buy that. That's not right money. And then you play it on like your third or fourth time playing the game. It's like, all right, you kind of go into it thinking, I really got to look at the tile. I got to look where it is compared to what I have. So you kind of go in with that mindset of, let's not get confused. It does get easier, especially as the game's going.
For a newcomer, I think that's kind of tough.
That would throw a lot of people off.
Yeah, because I know it definitely threw the three of us off before.
Absolutely.
And I guess some people it's easier than others to to look at that and it doesn't bother them. But I could see oh, I'm looking at green money, but this green tile can only be bought with blue money. So that gets a little confusing.
If you're just playing this game with two people, also, I think this is a pretty good thing to note. You need a lot of space.
Oh yeah.
The game ends when there are no more tiles to put on the board. From there, you auction off the rest of the tiles that are on the building block. But if it's just two people, you need a lot of space because I can't remember off the top of my head how many tiles, but there are a lot of them. So they get rather large. 3 people, it's an easy way to manage how much space you actually need. You don't really need too much. You're not going to be moving stuff around very often, but up to, I think upwards of, I think the maximum is 5 or 6 people to play this game. I think you won't need a lot of space at all because a lot of stuff's going to be flying off the board.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be waiting, or not going to be hanging around.
Yeah.
I think
that's
going to do it for this episode of the Monday Night Gamer. Thank you for listening. Join us every other Monday where we're going to be talking about board games and video games. Disclaimer on the video games, it's not always going to be the newest game out there. I have a library. If you follow us on Twitter at Monday Night Gamer, abbreviation MON Night Gamer, you'll see the full collection of video games that I have. So I have a lot of them, and we're going to be plowing through those when we do our video game posts. But thank you guys. Once again, I am Joe Cowley, joined by
Amanda Reed
and
Sean Vitale.
See you next time.